Hey guys, Latoya here. I hope you all are having a good spring so far. My spring was a little bit rough, at least for the past 2 weeks. I just got over laryngitis, which explains why I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks. But all in all, I'm better now, and I would love to talk to you about a particular fragrance that is not only easy to wear, but it's a really, really beautiful fragrance, and it's also really good for gifts when you're not sure as to whether or not you should buy someone a fragrance, because yes, fragrances are very personal, and not everybody likes certain scents. So, and you never would want to buy someone something that they don't like. So today's fragrance is called Blanche by Byredo. And here's the bottle. It's like, okay. So Blanche is a wonderful, wonderfully clean scent, but not in a linear way. It's so just think of fresh, clean linens, but not a linear scent or version of a scent. For clean linens, just think of clean linens with like a dash of some sort of essential oil or some sort of just something else, or roses, or well, for this, one of the notes in here is neroli and violet. Um, it's a really, really beautiful, clean scent, and the projection is really, really good on this. So um, it's kind of funny. At first, I had the travel size for Blanche, but some people say Blanche, some people say Blanche, but the Blanche means white in French. But originally, I had the travel size, which is a really good option in which to buy this particular fragrance, and I'll explain why later. But my mother kind of stole some before, and she wore it once, and when she walked by me, it was more like a cloud around her, and I'm like, "What are you wearing? It smells so good." And she's like, "Blanche, I'm wearing perfume. I'm wearing your perfume." So it's different when you smell it on yourself, and it's also very interesting when you smell it on someone else. So the projection on this is really, really good, and it's a very clean, pleasant scent. You can't go wrong with buying this for either yourself or someone else. And it's just perfect for hot weather. It's great when you just want a good scent that's pungent enough but clean enough, or a scent where you won't offend people around you. It's just perfect. I think this is just a scent that you can't go wrong with. And yes, I said it a ton of times already in this video, but that's because it's true. Yes, because any niche fragrance, it's they're all pretty expensive, so you can't really. This would not be a waste of money, and I say that because you're not going to dislike it, and it's not going to be useless in your collection. That's why I think a fragrance like this is worth the money, because you do want something that you can wear often, especially when you pay so much money for something. And that depends on the person. Some people, they don't mind paying hundreds of dollars for a bottle for, a perfume that they're going to wear twice or three times a year. That's them. But yes, if this is worth the investment, if you decide to purchase this type of fragrance. Now, just to tell you some more about the notes, I have them listed here. The top notes are aldehydes, pink pepper, white rose. The heart notes are neroli, peony, and violet. And the base notes are blonde woods, musk, and sandalwood. So at first, when you first spray this, it's not, honestly, from my experience, it doesn't change very much. That's how it makes. That's genuinely how it makes me feel. And anybody else that I've had smell this, sometimes I'll bring my friends to fragrance shops and have them smell everything, and I'm like, smell this one, and they all love it. And these are very and they're like very particular people. So when you first spray it, it's not like it might come off a little bit aldehydic, alcohol-y, but that's not the case. It's just that because it's such a light fragrance. The aldehydes are very strong up front, which is not surprising for a lighter fragrance. And then you do smell the pink pepper, which is there. It's like it starts out like, and then it starts to get prettier and more pleasant. So, and then you start to get through the dry down. The citrus notes start to come out, and you start to get the softness from the sandalwood a little bit. It's just a really beautiful fragrance. It's floral, but not in a floral way. I don't know, that might not sound like it makes sense, but it's just clean with notes of neroli. I love neroli as a note. I adore neroli. I actually use neroli oil, essential oil, for my skin. It's really, really good for scars and dark spots, discolorations on your face, FYI. But in terms of what this smells like and turns into on your skin, it's just fresh. I would say this is also good for the gym. This is like a great fragrance to have in your bag, in your gym bag. Do you go heavy with it? No. You just need like 2 sprays. But the only reason why I say this is great for your gym bag is because it's a fresh scent. It's a fresh, clean scent, and when you leave the gym, depending on if you're going out right after, it depends on your situation. Hopefully you shower, but this is just the kind of scent you would want to have in your gym bag because it's a really fresh scent. And it's really, really great. And also, as I mentioned before, I did say that buying the travel size of this this scent is really, really good. And the reason why I say that is because I think it's good to get the bottle and the travel scents because it'll be beneficial to have it in your house. But because this is such a daily fragrance, this is such a work appropriate fragrance, this is an going out appropriate fragrance, this is a date appropriate fragrance. It's just an all-around appropriate fragrance, and I could definitely see myself traveling with this. At first, I had the travel size, but this is definitely the type of fragrance you want to travel with because it's just appropriate for anywhere. You can't go wrong with it, and it's really, really nice to smell. Smelling like clean sheets, clean linens is great, but again, as I become more and more mature within the fragrance community, I'll be a bit more well versed and mature with my words when I say these things. However, you you want people to smell you and make that and have that expression. So Blanche, yeah, you cannot go wrong with this fragrance. This is perfect for spring and summer. This is the 50 ml, and I actually got this as a split because I ran out of my travel size, and at the time I didn't quite feel like paying the price for a full bottle at the store, and this is a really good deal, so I jumped on it and I got it. This is definitely worth the money. And also, if you are considering the house of Byredo, Byredo is a great house. And all of their fragrances do have a theme, but there are some within the line that are a little bit different. But if you are considering this house and you want something similar, but not quite as clean or linen-y, clean sheetsy, you might want to try Rose of No Man's Land. I used to have Rose of No Man's Land, and I went through the bottle. So Rose of No Man's Land has a very similar note breakdown, but it's a rose scent, obviously because of the rose in the title, but it has a heavy note of Turkish rose and pink pepper and other notes that are similar to Byredo. To Blanche. So if you are looking for a more floral version of this, a more special occasion-y version of this fragrance, you definitely should consider Rose of No Man's Land. I love Rose of No Man's Land. I think it's another underrated, like as you guys know me, I like to talk about underrated fragrances. It's definitely an underrated fragrance from that house. The most popular fragrance from Byredo is Gypsy Water. A lot of people Also love Bal d'Afrique. To me personally, and it's kind of weird. To me personally, I wasn't quite. I feel like I have to give Gypsy Water another chance. But in terms of Bal d'Afrique, I'm gonna have to give that another chance too. But this Blanche was just so much more. Blanche and Rose of No Man's Land, they were just so much more interesting, and they had a bit more depth to them. Yeah, so I would say if you are just starting to explore Byredo, try Rose of No Man's Land, Blanche. If you want lighter floral sort of fragrances, but not too floral in a cheap, not a cheap designer, but like in a designer-ish way. I would, definitely try out Blanche and Rose of No Man's Land. And there's definitely there. I know Seven Veils is another one that is a love. Black Saffron is another love from that house, especially if you love the note of leather and saffron. I personally cannot stand the note of leather, and if it isn't a fragrance, I can't smell it. It has to be something like within an accord or something like that, where it's just it works with the notes. But it's a very versatile line, and you just can't go wrong with this one. If you were to blind buy this is a safe bet. You will not hate it. And this is definitely much better than a lot of this other clean designer fragrances that a lot of people love, like, Neroli Portofino by Tom Ford, or I personally like Mandrino di Almafi from Tom Ford. This is funny, but because that particular scent reminds me of Dial soap. But I love it though. And that's probably a terrible. Just don't take that with a grain of salt with like judging that particular fragrance. But that's just what it reminds me of. But I love soapy fragrances. I love fragrances that smell like soap. I love soap in general. So that's why I love that fragrance. But because Tom Ford fragrances do have, unfortunately, a reputation of not lasting long, and it's just not worth the price, I probably will never buy a bottle of Tom Ford. It's terrible that as that probably sounds. I know probably a lot of people might hate me for that, but for the money, it's just not worth it. I personally, I just do not think it's worth it. There's just a ton. There's just so many more really, really good, fresh, clean fragrances that are well worth the price. The projection is good, the longevity is good, and the quality is a lot higher. And now another note with Byredo, some of their fragrances do also have, compared to other niche brands, some of their fragrances do have a reputation of not lasting super long either. You probably would have to reapply after like 4 hours, which is not bad. But I remember any of the times that I tried on Tom Ford fragrances, or most other designer fragrances, it's just like I can't even smell anything on my skin after like an hour or hour and a half. That's definitely a no for me. And this is, of course, after you moisturize, because you're supposed to moisturize when you apply fragrances. At first, I thought it was just me. Oh, it's my skin, but it's like after reading a lot of reviews and educating myself more within the niche fragrance community, I realized that, okay, it wasn't me. It's actually the quality of Tom Ford's juice. For most of the fragrances from the private line are not as good. They made a lot of adjustments to their formulas within the fragrances, and a lot of people are not happy about that. So you're really just paying for the name, essentially. Or if you just really love the scent and you just feel like spending the money on it, just it's fine. Just don't buy a Tom Ford fragrance thinking you're going to get an exceptionally high quality fragrance. That's all. But back to Byredo. To Blanche. You can't go wrong with it. Definitely a great gift. A staple for me throughout the spring and summer. Please comment and subscribe. And just share your thoughts below. Is Byredo in general a house you love? Is Blanche a favorite of yours? Do you hate Blanche? Do you not like soapy scents? Do you not like clean scents? Or I think a lot of people also feel that clean scents are not worth paying money for, but which is why the quality matters. So yeah, share your comments below. Let me know. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts. I'm a newbie to the fragrance community, and I cannot wait to share a lot more of my fragrances with you, as well as my journey, my fragrance journey. So take care and have a great week, everybody.